colourful city of Jaipur has a rich bout of history and culture associated with it. The Pink City is synonymous with some brilliant monuments, deep-rooted culture, and the most delicious cuisines. But in the second half of September, Jaipur had something very different to offer. It hosted a round of the Indian National Rally Championship or INRC for the first time in over 2 decades. The MRF Rally of Rajasthan promised some high-speed action on the outskirts of this royal city. The series is organized by the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India or FMSCI, with tyre manufacturer MRF being roped in as a title sponsor. As promoters, Kolkata-based Ramakrishna Race Performance Management Private Limited also got on board other marquee companies like Mahindra Adventure, Kart Air, Isuzu, York, Arunachal Pradesh Tourism and Arya as key sponsors for the 2017 season. As is the case with every rally, the proceedings at the Rally of Rajasthan began with the compulsory scrutiny of cars on all the aspects of safety. A series of checks were done to see all the mechanical parts of vehicles were working perfectly. Any malfunction in the vehicle ran the risk of the car being rejected an OK sticker, which meant it cannot take further part in the event. The idea, of course, is to ensure the utmost safety for all the participants in the rally. Despite all of this, motorsport can be dangerous, and it is made clear ample number of times that all stakeholders are here at their own risk. This year's second round in Chennai, due to be held in the month of August, got washed out due to bad weather. So this was the first time since the opening round in Coimbatore, after almost a gap of 2 months, that the competitors were about to get behind the wheels and rally.
For us as drivers, we get very few rallies to drive. So more the rallies, better for us to develop ourselves, and maybe when we go abroad to rally, hopefully, we have that much more exposure and experience. But unfortunately, with the 5 rallies, and if we miss 1 or 2 events, it is a little disheartening. The forces of nature, I don't think, would have permitted Chennai to happen.
The number of miles you sit on the seat of a rally seat will gain you experience. So I think that we should be driving every weekend. Unfortunately, we don't have so many rounds of championships, but with the promoter in place, I'm sure next year we'll be having more rallies. So we should be, all the drivers should get more seat time, and they should learn more from every weekend rallies.
Due to the cancelled round, the drivers had already lost precious time of being in a competitive environment, especially because the opportunities to rally and test yourself are very limited in the current scenario of the sport in the country.
Like Gaurav says that he has a disadvantage with his European teammates because they are driving every weekend, whereas he's driving once or twice a month. And for us, it's one step lower. We are driving once every 2 months, and Indian cars. So yeah, it does. Well, it should be. It's like it should become second. Reactions. It's like should be like you get the feel and any sport. The more you practice, you're going to get better. So yeah, ideally we should be in the car every week, but that's not going to happen in India.
Chennai rally getting cancelled gave me an opportunity to have another session with Gaurav. That gave me a huge confidence boost because on that terrain the car was sliding all over the place.
The Super XUVs from Team Mahindra Adventure were the last ones to arrive for scrutiny and were well prepared to clear it within no time. Post this, the competitors headed to the compulsory briefing session. Just like the opening round in Coimbatore, there were 4 categories here as well, namely INRC, INRC2, INRC3 and the 2-wheel drive cup. To promote local talent, there was a separate category for participants representing the local organizers, Star Motorsport. This was followed by the press conference where some of the leading drivers of the rally, including the previous round's winner Gaurav Gill of Team Mahindra Adventure, spoke about their plans for the weekend.
Yeah, overall, I think it's a very challenging event, and it's very important for us to get maximum points on this in this rally and make sure that we get on top.
Hopefully, do a repeat again. Last year, won in Delhi. So I don't know, like you said, maybe not even some more lucky for me. We are trying our level best in terms of preparing the car and getting it right there, and hopefully this rally should be good for us.
India that way is a diverse country, and as we go to different parts of the country, the nature of the roads changes. And it's a very good thing that we've come to Jaipur, which has a different nature of road than what we're used to in South India. So it's a good challenge and something we should have more often in the NRC.
The ceremonial flag off was next. The cars lined up one after another to officially kickstart the Rally of Rajasthan. Leading participants of the rally included Karna Kadur along with his navigator Nikhil Pai driving for Arca Motorsport, Gaurav Gill and Musa Sharif driving for Team Mahindra Adventure, their teammates Amitrajit Ghosh and Ashwin Nayak, and AR Racing's Arjun Rao and Satish Rajgopal. The teams then headed to Ajrol, a village on the outskirts of Jaipur city, for the opening stage of the rally, which was something special. For the first time in 20 years, an INRC event anywhere in the country was to hold a night stage. This more than made up for the absence of shakedown in this rally, as the night stage had a lot of drivers excited, worried and nervous at the same time. Special preparations were made by teams to drive in the dark as they put on extra set of lights to try and minimize the troubles of low visibility.
Well, night stages are always very special because visibility is very down to a minimum and speeds are as high as it can get. Plus, we have to ensure that we have the best lights available in the car, on the car, and your pace notes have to be very different. The pace notes, what I do is usually I make a pace note suited for the night conditions, not for the day. And of course, the lights can be adjusted to each driver's preference, where some drivers like the lights to have a lot of spread and some drivers have spotlights. I do a lot of mix of both and ensure that I have good visibility.
We had to test at night and to see whether the lights are there and how it felt. So that's a new thing that we had to do for this round. So looks okay. Everybody's a little tensed about the night stage, but it's okay. It's just another stage, but we'll have to see how it goes and get to the finish.
Both Team Mahindra Adventure drivers had prior experience of rallying in the dark and had some tips for other competitors who were getting into something like this for the first time.
The advice is obviously to keep the momentum going all the time and ensure that you don't cut corners and ensure that your wheels are always in the center.
Normally at night nobody is going to be as quick as daytime. You are going to be off pace, so if you think that you're driving not as hard as you do in the day, that will be the case for everybody. You can't be at the same pace as daytime at night. So yeah, that's my only thing, that don't get psyched out thinking that you're driving slowly, because it's going to be the same for everyone.
The Nighthawk stage was to be 13.9 kilometers long enough to test the mettle of the drivers and navigators and test their skills of taking on these tough terrains with limited visibility conditions. The tracks were narrow and the terrain was tough. Navigation was also a different ball game, but none of this deterred Coimbatore winner Gaurav Gill, as he along with his partner Musa Sharif began the march for Team Mahindra Adventure, conquering the championship's first night stage with Elan. They zipped through the sharp turns and undulating curves in the dark with ease and took barely 13 minutes 21.1 seconds to complete the stage. Competing in the dark was a first for most drivers in the rally, and it got thumbs up from all of them.
First time that I drove a night stage, so I was very excited, and it certainly lived up to my expectation, and it was a different challenge altogether. We thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we did well for ourselves.
The feeling of going into that night stage with those fogs on and everything, till the last bit is just superb. It's just mind-blowing. I literally enjoyed that stage. Just that was part of learning for me. And we just kept it clean and kept it on the road. And we had a clean run at the night. What I noticed about the night stage is it being pitch black everywhere except the spread of the headlights, of the fog lights, allows you to focus purely on what's in front of you and forces you to listen to the calls.
Started my rally career from 93, so 93 to 99. So we used to, all INRs used to run, most of the stages are in the night. So after that, big 16 years of gap of day rallying. So for us, actually for me it's a very good advantage, and Gaurav also drove very well. Even it's like driving in thick fog, and the front car we caught almost 1 minute and 21 seconds, so the gap is very less, but still we managed to do fastest 34 seconds over the second car.
It's time for a short break here on Living Cars. On the other side, action from the day stages of MRF FMSCI 2017 Rally of Rajasthan. The Super Sunday saw the cars get to the Park Ferme in the service park very early in the morning. It was going to be a long day as the competitors would run 6 stages through the day in sets of 2 each. The opening stage of the day was just about 6 km long, but promised to test the drivers to the core. The stage was called Shiv Shakti 1, and the first car to be set off the mark was Karna Kadur in his Volkswagen Polo. It was a great start to the day for the defending national champion driving for Arca Motorsport, as he finished the stage in 6 minutes 1.5 seconds to snatch the lead from winner of the night stage, Gaurav Gill. In fact, the latter suffered a puncture, therefore taking 6 minutes 49.1 seconds to finish 5th in the stage, finishing behind even his own teammate Amitrajit Ghosh for the first time this year. Ghosh and Karna's joy, however, was short-lived. Gill was back in his elements in SS3, the flying machine stage, taking an astounding 12 minutes 9.5 seconds to crack the 13.8 kilometers to reclaim the lead in the rally.
You know, the first stage was quite fast, bumpy, narrow, and the second stage was again very, it had a lot of mixed surface, I would say, because it had tarmac, it had very loose sand, it had very fast bits, and it had very rough bits. So you have to, as a driver, you know, be very versatile when you get onto different surfaces and change your driving style accordingly.
First stage, initially we had a puncture, then we lost almost close to 40 seconds. Then immediately after the stage we changed the tire, and the SS3 we made close to 40 seconds. Now we are leading by 34 seconds.
Gaurav will have to not think about, because as I tell my friends, we make a joke about it that he's done his PhD, he's doing his second PhD, whereas we've just gone to high school, so it doesn't matter what he's doing. But apart from that, we are in second, and yeah, we're also thinking about the championship and trying to get the car back, so we're not pushing all out. But yeah, it's been nice. The first stage of the day is a little narrow for us. I lost quite a bit of time in the hairpin, but that's rallying. You know, sometimes it's good for you, sometimes it's not.
Second stage, how was that? A much longer stage?
Yeah, second stage is good. It was nice fun over the rough stuff. There's some high-speed sections where you're doing 5th gear and quite high speeds, and towards the end of the stage is very nice. It's flowing and proper corners, and it feels very nice to drive through them.
The first stage was the shorter one, which was about I think about 6 point something kilometers. That was pretty decent. That was okay. Nothing much to complain about that. The second stage was really fast. There were a couple of sections where you're on 4th gear, I think about 140, 150 kilometers an hour or more. And yeah, those are quite some fast stages where you've got, you know, fast sections where you have to literally, you know, where you have to keep your car in place and not overshoot any corner or any, you know, there's no room for error. You're not going to get your car back if you have any error. But apart from that, yeah, a couple of rough sections where you have to ease off and back off. Well, the first stage wasn't as rough as we thought it would be. I mean, it wasn't as bumpy, to be honest. you can drive hard and fast. We started enjoying that, and maybe we lost a little time because we were being a little too cautious and being the first car on the road. That was the first stage. By the time we got into the rhythm, the stage got done, so there's nothing you could do about that. The next stage is long and nice, but there are sections which don't suit our cars, is how I think I see it. But other than that, there are sections that you can, really push yourself and enjoy as well.
Good. The first stage took me a little while to get a rhythm, but we set a decent enough time. The second stage, we really had a good time. No two ways about it. And yeah, the first loop was great.
The surface wasn't very easy to drive on, and once the cars were back in the service park for a regroup, they were given immediate attention by the service crews. The competitors shared their thoughts about the difference they found between the rallies in Coimbatore and Jaipur when it came to the terrains.
Big difference because this is North India and that is South India. Obviously, even if you just see the soil here, it's completely different from what South India has to offer. So yeah, that's why I said yesterday as well, it's nice that we go pan-India because every place, state and every city of India has a different surface and a different texture to it. So that'll help us in our experience to drive in different conditions.
Both are difficult and both are rough, but since it's my first time here and they are organizing it after quite some time, the organizers have definitely done a good job. I mean, they have given it their best shot, so there's nothing that we can say about that.
Yes, Coimbatore also becomes, the stage become rough over the period of time, but then here in Jaipur, we had certain patches which was very, very rough. What we expected when we came here, to have smooth gravel, flowing corners, but then yes, the stages were very, very challenging. A lot of surprises around the corner. Narrow stages because most of the INRC drivers are not used to narrow stages. So coming here, going into a narrow stage, everybody had their own, setback and drawbacks on that.
This region has a lot of desert and sandy, texture. So, but the organizers have chosen a route which is has got a lot of mixed surface. It's got a little bit of tarmac, it's got a little bit of rough stone, forestry roads, and a bit of sandy, fields, and quite a big mix of, all the gravel paths, which is very, very good. I think it's good practice for everybody, to learn how to drive on different surfaces which are constantly changing to the course. Compared to Coimbatore, obviously Coimbatore is pretty much similar all the way through, right from the start to the end. It's very, very fast. It's lots of room. If you make a mistake, you can always come back, but not in Jaipur.
I mean, I'm driving something like this for the first time. So that's another challenge in itself. So we need to adapt and get used to it. Yes, the stages are very rough, but I think that's how it is going to be, and it's not going to change, and we have another 4 more stages to go.
The drivers were back in the reckoning as the third stage of the day, Shiv Shakti 2, was set to begin. Through this stage and through Flying Machine, the fourth stage of the day, Gaurav Gill in his XUV went beyond everybody's reach, driving in his typically aggressive manner. He needed just 5 minutes 55.4 seconds to complete the SS4 and widen his lead. Karna and Amit Rujit kept pace till that stage, but then disaster struck for both of them. Karna's car broke down in SS5 as he tumbled out of contention. Amit Rujit too faced a problem and managed to clock only 18 minutes 16.9 seconds, nearly 5.5 minutes behind Gill, to slip to the 6th position. The rapidly changing surface conditions posed a big challenge to both drivers and the machines.
I think we'll have to look at the position because, as I said, it will be foolish to try to catch Gaurav, if you try to go as hard as him or try to catch him, I think most 9 out of 10 times you'll have a crash or you will break the car. We'll have to consolidate second and then try to get the car to the finish.
In a short format of rallying, it's from the word go, you have to push. So even if you lose about 5 seconds around a corner, you have lost your lead because everybody is there within the 10 seconds, 15 seconds bracket. So I think the top 5 normally is there within that 1 minute. So if you have a flat and you lose about 3 minutes, that means you've gone down the ladder.
I think both stages here were a little bit different from each other, but definitely overall the rally was very rough. Even for our strong XUVs, we did have to take care of them and ensure that the tires don't pick up punctures because it's extremely rough and rocky terrain in portions of the stages. Overall the stages are pretty much similar, but the speed varies and so does the mixed surface.
In the final stage, Amitravjit Ghosh made up time quite dramatically but couldn't do enough to get onto the podium. This opened the path for Dean Mascarenhas and Rahul Kantraj. The former in his Volkswagen Polo had an impressive stage to climb all the way to the second position. Kantraj stunned the field by winning the stage, although Gill went easy after being assured of winning the round. That ensured him third place on the podium.
I'm really happy that we've come on top in this tough rally, so it shows that our car and our tires are at its best. I think it's all about driver input. At the end of the day, as a driver, you need to be smart and be careful at the same time. You have to have the right speed and make sure you don't pick up any damage. Even the XUV, our Super XUV, can pick up damage if the driver is not paying attention.
To be honest, I had no strategy at all. My strategy was to come and get the car back as clean as possible and just finish it in the top spot. That's it. And I just kept it clean and consistent, and that's how I'm here.
It was dark when the trophies were handed over to the deserving winners. In FMSCI two-wheel drive cup, Chetan Shivram and Rupesh Khole came out on top, while Suraj Thomas and Thomas Paul were runners-up. Sachin Sharma and Sagar Malappa finished third. In INRC 3, Darayesh Shroff and Nitin Jacob took the third place, while Saddam Ali Sheikh and Abhijit Singh finished second. Just like in Coimbatore, Dean Mascarenhas and Shruptha Padiwal won in Jaipur as well. INRC 2 saw Jacob KJ and Manoj Mohanan take the final podium position, while Yunus Ilyas and Harish Kumar came second. Rahul Kantraj and Vivek Bhatt won the category. The duo also finished third in the INRC category, losing out to Dean Mascarenhas and Shruptha Padiwal, who finished second best. Team Mahindra Adventure duo of Gaurav Gill and Musa Sharif made it 2 out of 2 this season after winning in Coimbatore. In all, the two-time APRC champion won 4 out of 6 special stages during the rally. Round 4 of the season took place around the lovely coffee plantations of Chikmagalur in Karnataka. And now the next round takes place in the beautiful hill state of Arunachal Pradesh, which is hosting an INRC round for the first time ever. See you there.